Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, quiet on the set.
All right, gotcha.
This weekend, SEC football promo. Take two. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your guy, Mr. Fingaz, coming to you live from Zagnif Central.
Hey, and I'm Collin P., your brother from another. What it is, showbiz?
I will tell you what it is, showbiz. You guys, welcome to this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. But before we get started, do us a little favor. If you're watching us on the YouTube, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. We appreciate you much. And if you want to be a contributor to the show, a little something to help the cause, right down there in the bottom, in the lower third, in the crawl, rolling across your screen is the address for our Patreon page. We got some great perks for those of you that are contributors and regular viewers of the show, because we appreciate you so very, very much. So, Collin, my man, I think it's time to get this show started. What you say?
My man, let's lay the hammer down.
Oh, you know we gonna do something before two something. Club Shay coming right at you right after this. Oh, hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls.
What Bama does, what Bama do. They were giving Alabama like Alabama was this. If Alabama didn't lose their two stars.
Does not show up that day, or was it?
You watch the same
It's offense more like I've noticed it's more of a passing.
Hey, who knows? It might have been, might have not been. Who knows? But then again, that's what I call it football. I mean,
oh man, that's definitely going on the blooper reel.
when you do that, boys, I think of Norbert. Oh my God, we have a dandelion encrusted rib.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? How are you doing? What you doing? Hey. You and you doing today. We appreciate you guys. Oh, wow. Okay. Somebody just jumped in the green room back there. Hang tight, sir. We will get to you in just a bit. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 22, season 2 of This Week in SEC Football. I am Mr. Fingaz, the number one dog in the dog fan in OKC, coming to you from Zagnif Central. That fella over there, that brother right there, the sexy Mother Hubbard, the brother from another, the ace of base in the place, in your face. I am very happy to be here. Collin P. from the DMV in the SEC. My man, how are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, man, I can't get too much better, man. And this is a first full solid week of SEC and football in general. I've been hyped all weekend. I had to work, but hey, this made it all more bearable just to see that football on TV, man. How about yourself?
Bruh, who are you telling? You saw the video. And we kind of staged it, but the emotion was very real. I did the whole bit with I had on my starting day jersey, my opening day jersey. I had on my opening day shoes. Bro, let me tell you something. That jersey shoe combination is 10-1 since I got that joint.
Is it really? I was about to say you might need to update them shoes a little bit, but I do like the low chucks, so I like them.
That I can only wear them for the game, and only if I'm sitting down. If I walk around in them, then my feet start hollering like the little piggy that went to market and cried we all the way home. But yeah, man, 10-1. The only loss was the Clemson, I think, in 2012. Yeah, 2012.
Oh no, okay. Hey,
or maybe 2013. Not a bad record at all. There's the game day opening shoes. Those of you that are connected to me on social media, you saw it. I just have a generic number 11 jersey and then a nice looking pair of low chucks with the G on the side with the red and black color scheme on there. They are so dope. and the only time I wear them is for the opening game of every season. And the boys did it in big fashion. We gonna talk about that in a minute. But my neighbor has his family, my next door neighbor's family got together, and the brother dropped off. He texted me, said, meet me in the driveway. I was like, oh, word? He's like, yeah, we got some food for you. I was like, word. My man's got a pickup truck length smoker grill combo. The kind you hitch to the trailer of a truck and tow around.
Oh yeah.
That uses real wood. And he said he had that thing burning all day on Friday. And I opened that thing up. Man, it was half ribs, half burnt ends, and then it was some wings thrown in there. And I was like, my dude, the ribs are already gone. Suffice to say, the ribs are already gone.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'd imagine you put a dent in a bunch of that real fast.
Bro, a dent, he say.
Rather large dent.
Yeah, man, boy, let me tell you what. I texted him. I told him the ribs is gone before he came back from his family function. They were definitely back before he came back with his family function. So for those of you that are joining us, we would like very much if you would take a moment to give the video a like. If you're watching on any type of platform, that being Twitter, YouTube, where you can click the subscribe button, please feel free to click the subscribe button. Those of you that are watching right now, share it with your friends. Let them know. Anything helps the algorithm. We appreciate you very much. We're going to get into it, and we got a lot to talk about today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this word out from our homie, our number one sponsor for season 2, and we will be right back. You guys hang tight. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that's our guy, Sid Swinton, one half of the Swinton family. He and his lovely wife, Ash, part of the Let's Talk Football family of podcasts. They are they are featured heavily, or star on 2 of the shows, guest on a whole bunch of other shows. Sid, football cards, if you love them, get at my guy. His title is down there. His tag is down there in the crawl. Squid It Rips cards. You can find him on TikTok. He goes live several times a week when he gets shipments in. Y'all get at him. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And we just got to go ahead and hit the horn right now, because you know what we're going to talk about first. You know what we're going to talk about first. You know what we're going to talk about first. We try not to be biased, but you know we love our team. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Mr. Spencer, you know what? You got us. Georgia, the returning national champions, take on the Ducks of Oregon. Number 3, Georgia, number 11, Oregon, in the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. And we know how it went, man. It went, I mean, the final score was 49-3. I was barking like a madman the whole game. And Collin, I'm going to come to you first. What are some of the things that you saw in this game that impressed you?
First off, man, it's just the first couple of drives with I want to go ahead and start off with Stetson Bennett. I mean, he looks so much more polished this year, decision making wise. He threw away balls that he wasn't trying to force anything, and that's new. I mean, he didn't really do it a whole lot, but I mean, he did try to do too much last year. He did make some kind of poor decisions. But then again, his feet. I mean, like he's always been fast in some of the situations he got away from. You can definitely see the polishness and the time he took during the offseason to kind of polish his craft a little bit as being a quarterback. But I'm digging a new haircut. You know what I'm saying? He got it high and tight. And, our defense, I'll go ahead and say that, for all the people that said our defense was going to take a step back, it really didn't seem like their feet moved that much in my eyes. We got some youngins out there playing. Malachi in one of them, that interception, man, it was just, goodness gracious. It looks like the bodies were flying on defense. We got McConkey, showing his behind out there. We got these guys actually look like they, having fun, which is awesome to see. Yeah. How about yourself?
Oh man, I did see a lot that impressed me about the squad this year. Now, we do know that Oregon brought in Bo Nix as a transfer from Auburn. We know that they have a new coach in Dan Lanning, a former defensive coordinator. They were expecting some big things, but I think it's going to take Dan about another couple of games to get the defense solid, to get them nice and squared up. Because I mean, they still have to play. They still got to play that team from the Mormon State. I won't say their name yet because I don't want to have to get into my little bits yet. They're going to have to play the team from the Mormon State. They're going to have to play USC and Lincoln Riley. So they're really going to have to be 100% up on the game. And I really don't want to dog Bo Nix because I know you and I both said he had happy feet. I really want to see the young man do well, but started out with a lot of promise and wound up throwing 2 picks. But what I saw from us that I was impressed with, number one, we scored on the first 7 drives.
Right.
Flat out. 7 drives, 7 scores.
And third down conversion was key.
Yeah, third down conversion was key. 9 out of 9 consecutive third down conversions to start the game. Stetson definitely looked calm in the pocket, definitely more composed. Sometimes he'd get a little shook up and make a bad throw that almost turned into an interception, or that one play where there was an incomplete pass, a forward pass, or a fumble. When he got hemmed up, he just threw it away. And I do like his decision-making skills. He was 25 and 31 for 368 with 2 touchdowns, and that's a big step up from him. And he spread the ball all over the receiving corps. Ladd got some, Bronk got, Bowers got some, Big D Wash got, Big D got some, Big O got him some.
Big O got 2 ups, man. When he hurdled that kid, that was crazy. The big man got that ups.
Yeah. Now, having said all of that, I'm very happy that we were able to walk away with the win. But there were some things I saw that did concern me. The strength of our defense last year was our front 7. This year's front 7 needs some help with tackling drills. There was a lot of arm tackles. That first drive, were it not for that interception, could well have been a touchdown because they were moving the ball at will when it comes to running the ball. The other thing that I saw, the run game was able to get a lot of penetration, but the secondary was much improved. So I think knowing that we have guys that are new to starting roles is going to take a little bit of time to get them up to speed. But those were my concerns. My other concern is I didn't see a lot out of the run game yesterday. We normally would see Zeus get 12, 13 carries at 4 to 6 yards a carry. James Cook out of the backfield. We did see a little bit of Milton and McIntosh. They did let Robinson get in the game a little late, but that was the other thing. Like, where was we were doing fine. We didn't really need the run game for this game, but you and I have both seen the schedule, and we kind of have an idea of what we think, how we would like for it to go. But as all of these rosters tighten up over the course of the season, we're going to need that run game. We're going to need that.
I think they relied heavily, which was working. Don't get me wrong. The Deacon, they were just dropping passes. You
can't forget Durkin.
That's right. See, and it was working. Why deviate from what's working? Why fix what ain't broke? But that's where our run game kind of took a hit. I mean, we were still getting the ball to them, but just flat out, just a dump off, and then they were getting a 3 or 4 5 yard pass and turning it into 20. And they were breaking away. But to your point about the defense, I don't think we had a sack. Did we have a sack? We couldn't get to Bo Nix. I don't think. We didn't break through the line.
Like I said, that front seven needs to tighten up, definitely, because that was a huge game changer for us last season.
Sure.
Now there's a fan theory that I found was very interesting about that. We're going to touch on that, and then a couple more points. We're going to move on to the rest of the recap. There was a fan theory, and it says this. Just wanted to say this. After rewatching the game a few more times, I realized one thing. That game against Oregon was a genius recruiting move. We are known to run the ball. Our leading rusher had 50 yards. we showed everyone that we can have a place for wide receivers because that's always been the big thing. We get the 5-star receivers, we don't use them, you know. Oh, by the way, Eric Gilbert was out there. I was glad to see him back out on the field.
Yep, he sure was.
It said we all know we can run the ball. We just let every future recruit that they know that they will be fully utilized. Are we perfect? No, but we're headed in the right direction. Hashtag Go Dogs. So I don't know what to say about that because, you know, fans come up with different theories, but we know Kirby seems to be developing a knack for having a little something extra up his sleeve, and who the heck knows? So
Right.
especially this being a neutral site game. You know, a neutral site game, he couldn't really do any active recruiting. So it's like, all right, this is what we're going to show our recruits that we can do. Now we do have an insider. Right. I did get an inside report on the performance of the game. We'll run these real quick and then we'll move on to the next segment, which is the recap all the way around the conference of what's going on. But let's see what our insider had to say about the performance yesterday.
Wait, y'all told me they weren't going to be as good this. No, I'm just saying they look pretty good.
And then he further went on to say,
"Ain't nobody worried about no Georgia."
And then the last part of his quote was this, with regard to Bo Nix.
You know, when it comes to Bo Nix, you gotta admire the consistency. He changed schools. He changed jerseys, he changed time zones, and he is still the same old Bo Nix. Bravo, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jermaine Funny Man Johnson, content creator and Alabama Crimson Tide fan, one of the 3 funniest people out there right now creating content regarding SEC football. Definitely check him out. That is exactly how you can find him. Jermaine Funny Maine, FUNNYMAINE, Jermaine Funny Maine Johnson. And that's where you find him on Facebook. Love this guy. Look, man, all of it is coming back. It's not just the football. It's this guy. It's SEC Shorts. It's the other guy from It's This Other Thing, Matt Mitchell, whatever his name is. They're all hilarious. But we're going to keep this thing moving. Kudos to the dogs for making that 1-0. You got your volume turned up? You might need to knock that back just a peck because you're bleeding through on this side. Moving forward, we move into our SEC weekend roundup. We're going to start with University of Kentucky versus Miami of Ohio. I had to make sure I made that statement. University of Kentucky versus Miami of Ohio. Number 20, Kentucky come out. They put down 37 on Miami of Ohio, holding them 13 for their big first win of the season. I'm going to come to you in just a second. One of the big things that I did notice is that I did not know, and I don't know how I missed this because we've been doing all this. We're supposed to be doing all this research, right? Did not know that Chris Rodriguez was serving a multi-game suspension for off-the-field issues. So no Chris Rodriguez, and it definitely showed. It definitely showed because, you know, not having him as a threat, Miami of Ohio, you know, the Red Cats were able to get 3 sacks on Kentucky. Yeah. And that was something that you didn't see happen with them. I mean, the only time you saw it happen last year really was against us. So I'm going to come to you. What did you see in this game, man?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of to your point, 37-13. I kind of figured they would do a little bit more damage than they did. I mean, of course, it was a higher scoring game there. But Bob Stoops, he ties the win record there. You know, 1 second, I had something right here. So Levi's, he did have 303 yards and 3 touchdowns and an interception. Looks like the rushing game kind of tapered off there. Smoke only had 7 carries for 32 yards. Mm-hmm. But then again, you had Robinson with 6 receptions for 136 yards. You know, I mean, I knew Kentucky was going to win this game, but you know, kind of followed suit to what I thought. What was sticking out in your mind?
The fact that they struggled with third down conversions.
Yeah.
They didn't have very many during the game, but they definitely struggled with those. And we all know in in football, particularly in college ball, at the speed at which the game is played, especially in this conference, that those third down conversions are crucial. They were only able to convert twice out of 8, and that was pretty much it. But their defense did step up to the task. They were able to hold Brett Gaddert to 166 yards passing. So, and this, other than that, the stat line was relatively even. So
Yeah.
the bulk of the work was on Will Levis's shoulders, and he got the job done. So at the end of the day, they managed to log a W. But we see now that not having Rodriguez, not having that key part of the offense can definitely make a difference in the outcome of a game. I think it probably would have hung another 10 or 14 on him if Rodriguez was playing, maybe more than that.
Does that show you Kentucky? I mean, I know we voice concerns with, not concerns, but I guess concerns with Kentucky playing Kentucky this year. Do you think they'll still be kind of a team we need to worry about with Kentucky?
Depends on. Well, I've got to do some deeper digging to find out how many games Rodriguez is out for. If anybody's in the comments that already knows, please feel free to drop that in there. We got to look and see how many games that Rodriguez is out for. Depends. If they drop a couple before they get to Georgia, it may be a whole different ballgame. But we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep this thing moving on to our next game, in which the Gators of Florida. God, it hurts my throat to say that every time I say that.
Yeah.
That's such a nasty word. The Gators of Florida took on the Utah Utes.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
I've been waiting to bring that clip back. They took on the Utah, number 7 Utah. Florida eked out a 26-29 win in Florida with 90,000 screaming fans and a brand new coach in Billy Napier. And the fans were looking forward to winning the season opener, and they definitely got it. They got their money's worth. Anthony Robinson didn't really show out too tough under center as far as throwing the ball. Only 168 yards, but 0 turnovers. He also rushed for a $106 and had 3 rushing TDs. So he was exceptionally efficient with the ball. One of the key plays. One of the key plays was that one of the key players in the game was their punter, Jeremy Crenshaw. They punted 3 times, and he pinned them back inside their 20 2 of those 3 times. And looks like Florida's defense was really, really able to get that done, make that happen. And Richardson, thank you, Sean. I had it written down and I read it fine. Hold on, Anthony Richardson, you right. Look, Sean and I have this thing now. When I call a name out wrong, he hits me in the comments with it. So, thank you, sir. I had to go back and look at that. I was like, what did I say? I did it again. Doggone it. So, most definitely. And then the key play to seal the deal was that Florida's defense was able to come up with that big goal line stop with the interception at the end of the game. So that's what I saw. That's what I saw for that. Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Appreciate you. Thank you, Helper. They were able to hold off. Utah.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
So little irony here. Next up for the Gators are the Wildcats of Kentucky. And next up for Kentucky are the Utes.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utes.
So they're basically flip-flopping. They're basically flip-flopping opponents here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, welcome to This Week in SEC Football. I am Mr. Fingaz from Zagnif Central, that fella right there, the brother from another Collin P. from the DMV in the SEC. Appreciate you joining us, sir. Collin, I had a couple games I wanted you to highlight here. Hit me with one of them there, sir.
So, we'll start with Arkansas and Cincinnati. That was a big one I had my eyes on because of Cincinnati of last year. You know how they were, were pretty much they were doing well last year. And, I was wondering if they were going to carry it over to this season. And also you had, Sam Pittman coming in with Arkansas. Arkansas ended up winning 31-24, but they had KJ Jefferson had 223 yards passing, 62 yards rushing. He had 3 touchdown passing, and also he rushed for a touchdown. But they had the game. They had to lead 14-0 at halftime, and the big bright spot for is Trey Knox. He actually in 2000, I think it was 2020. I think it was Sam Pittman's first year there. He was actually a wide receiver. I think he actually became a tight end. So he's been doing really well at tight end, and he seems to be at the spot where he's most comfortable. He had 6 catches and 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was a target for KJ Jefferson, but they had a lot of help from the portal from the offseason. They had Dominic from Georgia Tech and Drew Sanders. They both had sacks, and they had Dwight McLaughlin that came from LSU. He had an interception. Also, they had Matt Landers. He caught 3 from Toledo. He actually caught 3 passes for 43 yards. And Oklahoma also, wide receiver from Oklahoma, and Hasselwood. He caught 3 catches for 42 yards as well. Cincinnati, took advantage of them losing 2 of their players the first half. Miles Slusher and Jalen Catalone, the safety. So looks like KJ Jefferson was just trying. He was taking advantage of those guys being out the second half. But yeah, I mean, I like what Arkansas was doing there. I mean, I figured it was a good game. Cincinnati kept it close. Ben Bryant was he had 325 yards for 2 touchdowns and an interception. Corey Kiner had 12 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, all in all, I thought it was a great game. Just Arkansas came out with it in the end.
Yeah, now and they've got South Carolina on deck next. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a recap on Thursday, on the games of the week on Thursday. But just based on what you saw out of Arkansas, we're going to get to South Carolina in a minute. Actually, we'll talk about that one next. But just based on what you saw to Arkansas, how do you think that was going to play out?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, this wasn't an SEC opponent. I'm not sure how they're going to fare against the West. We were talking about them how they were going to fare in the West. I'm actually not sure until I see them play a higher caliber. I mean, like I said, Cincinnati, don't get me wrong, they were ranked 23. So they were a good test for the first game of the season. I'm not sure actually how they're going to fare out throughout the season. We need to see them play another, an SEC team or something like that. How they're going to do in the conference.
Now, do you feel like that maybe with them missing their star quarterback from the year prior, that they're missing a couple of key pieces where Cincinnati would be able to replicate what they did last year? Now, I'll let you answer that in a second. One of the things that I saw out of KJ Jefferson is that he also seemed, much like Stetson, very, very comfortable in doing what he was doing. He was able to spread the ball around. Nobody really stood out on the receiving end, but he was able to spread the ball all the way around the field. So what do you think about that as far as the Cincinnati end? I know, it's an SEC thing, but Cincinnati definitely has a good rivalry with the SEC, from Georgia with the Peach Bowl to moving on to the CFP and things of that nature.
And Ben Bryant, it goes to show you. Look at his stats. You know what I'm saying? He looked comfortable. I don't know if it's a testament to the offense or Arkansas having not a good defense or a better defense than they've had in the past. But getting 325 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think they've been all right. I think they're going to be, like I said, they won't be the team they were, I don't think, last year. Maybe take a step back or two, but I think they'll be on par, I believe.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's fairly reasonable. Actually, I do believe I had Arkansas. I just checked the notes before we came on. I actually had Arkansas losing this one, so kudos to Arkansas for pulling it out, because I thought they were still going to be able to regroup on the Cincinnati side enough to bring something to the table to be able to pull this off. I believe that our buddy Mr. Spencer had Arkansas winning. So, yeah. And see, there you go. There's your key pieces right there. There's just what Sean says. We got everything that Sean says. Sauce Gardner, Desmond Ridder, Jeremy Ford, Alec Pierce, all of these guys that they lost. So, maybe it was just a little more for them to overcome and more that they could overcome. We're gonna jump over. I know I had a specific order I wanted to do these in, but we're gonna jump over. Excuse me. Water is making me belch this evening. I don't like that. I don't know why that happens. Every time I get ready to come on, I had to be careful about what I drink because everything makes me belch. It must be that over 50. Must be that over 50 thing. I must have to just go without for about an hour before and then not do anything till after. So moving on in our SEC roundup, this is one game that I definitely wanted to talk about here. And that was LSU versus FSU, which was the nightcap last night. Brian Kelly, we know everything, all of the subterfuge with him leaving, announcing that he was leaving after the season was over, getting Marcus Freeman as his player. They named Marcus Freeman as replacement, him coming down, all the shenanigans with him and the pictures with the candidates and the fake Southern accent. And they just fell a little bit short up against FSU. It was a hot mess. You're absolutely right. And I think you called that also too, Mr. Spencer. I'd had to go back and look at the notes, but you're 100% right. Brian Kelly falls short. Now, here's the thing that stood out most to me about this entire thing. Not just the fact that LSU doesn't look much different than where they left off at the end of last season. It was what Coach Kelly had to say when he was during the halftime. And let's go to the sidelines and see what he had to say.
Opportunities there in that first half, but you're only down by 4. What was your message?
We can't play any worse than that, I don't think. I mean, it's my first game. Maybe we can.
Wait a minute. Let me play it one more time in case you missed.
Opportunities there in that first half, but you're only down by 4. What was your message?
We can't play any worse than that, I don't think. I mean, it's my first game. Maybe we can.
We can't play any worse than that. I don't know. It's my first game. Maybe we can. He completely threw his team all the way up under the bus. So all of the posturing and the posing and we're doing great things and we want to bring the culture back to LSU of winning and 2 quarters of football, and he threw his entire squad under the bus.
Yeah. That was very surprising for him. I mean, for me to hear that out of him. I mean, I didn't think he had that kind of – I mean, when he was at Notre Dame, I never heard that kind of attitude. You know what I mean? I don't think – not that I can remember, But that leads into I don't know if you want to get into this early, but I mean, they already have one of their wide receivers trying to get in the transfer portal as soon as tomorrow. So
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. That was a joke post on Twitter, but yes.
Oh, was it a joke?
Yeah, because he came back later in the comments and said that's just a joke, but LSU do be trash though. Because I saw it too. But everybody's talking about the fact that Keyshawn Boutte has basically de-LSU'd his entire Twitter. Apparently dissatisfied. I mean, he only had what did he have? Only 40 yards receiving, 20 yards in the entire game.
Yards.
And the bulk of that was during that last drive to try and win the game. Yeah. I got that one right, Sean. Thank you. I beat you to it. I know his name. Thank you, though. I appreciate you for looking at me. My brother, I know you got me. But LSU this was supposed to be the resurgence of LSU with bringing Brian Kelly in, and they were saying that, debate is he a good enough coach to coach the SEC? Well, he's coached all these guys in Notre Dame, and he's coached 10-win seasons, and yada, yada, yada. And with having unlimited talent and unlimited resources as opposed to Notre Dame, then he would be able to do this, and the third. And that first game, I mean, you had a punt returner that muffed 2 punts.
Yeah.
The saving grace for them, even though they didn't win the game, the saving grace was that Norville turned around and tried to do a toss. He tried to do a pitch on the goal line. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Everybody's right there. It's not like they got to build up a good head of steam to be in the backfield, to fumble and give the ball right back over. Valiant effort on the part of LSU to move the ball down the field. Just couldn't get it done, but there were just too many mistakes. I mean, let's be real though. I mean, like they were. I mean,
I mean, didn't you think they were out of it? I mean, they actually came. They made a valiant effort just to get back to almost tie the game. I mean, without a missed extra point, I mean, they would have tied the game, went to overtime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there was 20 points scored within a minute. I mean, like a minute and a half. 20 points were scored.
Yeah. Okay. I got you, Mr. Spencer. Yes, I know I know the other coach needed that W, but I mean, I'm not.
But then
again,
that goes to FSU. That goes to what we were talking about FSU about how and let's talk college football about how FSU was going to be better than they were last year, and that showed a little bit. And that game is crazy to me because it looked like those boys were hitting. I mean, like it was a fast base. They were
beating the hell out of each other. As a matter of fact, there were 2 consecutive plays early on in the game where 2 players wound up going out hurt.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
And they were beating it. They were beating each other and beating each other and beating each other. But when it comes down to it, it's sometimes when the adrenaline is high, it is week 1. Everybody's because you've been waiting for this since last year. You want to come back out and redeem yourself for the previous year. And, but for a couple of muffed punts, the game could have gone a different way. But
for sure.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing is that at the end of the day, when you come in with all of that hype, the hype that they brought Brian Kelly in, you look at how Norville came into Florida State versus how Kelly came into LSU. When you come in with the hype train, if you bring in all that noise, you got to be prepared to back that up. And wasn't able to back it up this week. Now the question is now going forward, how does Brian Kelly as a coach motivate his team to, hey, look, game 1, we still got a lot of football left to play, and get out there and get out there next week and make this thing happen. Because next week, LSU's playing Southern University. Okay, they're playing an HBCU. But we've seen that these HBCUs are starting to step their game up. In maybe 2-3 years ago, you go beat up on Oklahoma State. I think went down to Savannah State and hung like 80 on them in Savannah State Stadium, which we expected. It was a money game. But now you're seeing these HBCUs that are on the come up, and like FAMU, in week 0. So we shall see what comes of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very, very brief pause for the cause, and we're going to let you guys know where you can catch who, what, when, and where as far as the Let's Talk Family Football Let's Talk Football. God, I do it every time. Let's Talk Family Football. Let's Talk Football family of shows is concerned. And then when we come back, we're going to have a special guest to join us. So you guys do not go far. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you very much for tuning in to This Week in SEC Football. Your host, Mr. Fingaz from Zagnew Central. The brother from another mother, Collin P. in the DMV in the SEC. You see what we did there? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got during our last show, we got pinged a lot from one of our LTF family members, and they were peppering us with questions about what about Maryland and what about this and what about that, and they dropped a very interesting nugget in the comments that we wanted to have them on to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to bring to the forefront. Let's see if he's there. Are you there, sir?
What's up? What's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Maryland Terrapins numero uno fan in all things WNBA insider, expert on all things WNBA. No lie, this guy does. How many shows a week do you do, man? You do like 8 short shows a week, sometimes 2 a day.
Something like that.
Our homeboy, the one, the only, Nathan Snell. Thank you for joining us, sir. Appreciate you for hanging out with us today. I said Nathan Snell, audience. That means y'all supposed to clap. Much better.
Goodness.
Better.
Thank you for joining
me.
us, sir. Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
We wanted to have you on because we had to have you talk about this thing, man, that you dropped on us, man. So you have a very interesting candidate that you think will win the Heisman Trophy this year, or should be in consideration.
It should be in consideration, not win, but should be in consideration.
Okay. So I'm gonna let you have the mic, give you a couple minutes to talk about this and chop it up and let people know what's on your brain.
It's no secret that I followed the University of Maryland Terrapins since I was in diapers. I've caught the Ralph Friedgen era and then the DJ Durkin era painfully. I like the direction that this Maryland program is going in with Coach Mike. Last couple years, if you could clearly see where the program is heading in a good direction. And last year was the start of great success with getting our first bowl game since 2010. They're bringing in recruits like Jacob Copeland from Florida, 4-star recruit. Pretty much a lot of guys coming back from last year, the offensive line in particular. Those guys are back. On the defensive side, we got a 4-star defensive end. I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head at the moment. When I look at the offense, Maryland's wide receiving core, I think can definitely be a top 10 receiving core in college football. I'm not going to say, no, I'll take it back. Top 20, top 15, top 20, I'll say. With Dante Demas, Rakeem Jarrett, Copeland, and then Deshaun Jones. And then you got a guy in Taulia who's broke Scott Milanovich's single season record. Well, he's tied it, the most touchdowns in the season. He's probably, I'll say, the most consistent quarterback we've had, I'll say, since C.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
The program's going in the right direction. So, a lot of his success, I think our success offensively is predicated on the game, on the type of performance that Taulia has.
So what specifically is it about as Baby Tua, as we like to call him? What exactly is it about Taulia that you think should have him be in consideration for the Heisman?
I think, again, as I stated, with the wide receiving core that he has, and then Maryland's running game is more likely to be a committee. But he's shown that he can fling the football. I think that's what most people would like to see in a quarterback. He's a leader of men. He is what most teams would want in a quarterback. And
do you see a lot of in him what was in his brother? Do you see any kind of any kind of characteristics? You say?
No, I think they're two totally different quarterbacks, styles of play. I think Taulia is more of a pocket, and I think Tua is more of a Michael Vick type prototype quarterback, in my opinion. I think they're similar in terms of they can both throw the ball. I just think that there's just two different styles of quarterbacks. I'll say it like that.
Okay.
All right. Now, realistically speaking, and let's be real. Realistically speaking, do you think that he will get any consideration for the Heisman at all?
No, I don't think so, because we're not on the level of a Georgia or Alabama or Cincinnati, Notre Dame. We're not there yet. Um, we're a couple more years from being there. So I mean, I do think that he shouldn't be ignored in terms of, oh, okay, that like I think if Maryland continues the success that they have, like but his name's gonna be thrown in there. Like, oh, he could be a potential mid first round, late first round quarterback. So.
What kind of gets me and these quarterbacks or these players being in consideration, for the Heisman? I mean, like what are the standards? I mean, like it's kind of hard. Like to me, it seems like the standards for being considered or change. You gotta, it's players that win and pass, they have different characteristics, different strengths, and athleticism and that kind of stuff. But it just, do you think it's more bias? I mean, like who wins like the Heisman, like per conference or per team or anything like that? I mean, rhetorical question.
I'll jump in on that one too, man. I mean, it's obvious that the big name programs, if they have any kind of breakout star, if Georgia has a breakout star, like a big breakout star, if Bama has a breakout star, Ohio State, Michigan, the big name marquee programs, if they have a breakout star, those names are already in consideration for.
Yeah.
Those names are automatically thrown in the hat. Meanwhile, you got other guys that would be equally as deserving that just don't get those looks. I did want to ask this question here of you that we got from the crowd. Sean posted, said that Tua was judged for having accuracy issues. You think that he and Taulia are similar or no?
No, I think they're two different, like I said, styles of quarterbacks. I think Taulia is more of a pocket passer. And as I stated, Tua is more of a Michael Vick type quarterback.
Okay.
Prototype, I should say.
Okay. All right. Got another comment here. It's a little bit long. I want to show it, but it'll cover your face. But it's for Sean and saying that Taulia will have the kind of year that will gain him the attention. That Pickett was a candidate for Pittsburgh and Walker for MSU. If you have a dominant year and win money games, they'll show love. Now, in the era of where doggone near every Division I game is aired on TV, that is 100% true. Another question here: what do you see as Taulia's strengths, like outside of just his, like you mentioned, his style of play, like him being more of a Vic prototype? Like what does that contribute to his strengths? What are his strengths that contribute?
His offensive line and his receivers. They like last year he didn't have Dominus, but they had a decent offense where he was able to make the right correct passes. I mean, he tied a single season record with 26 touchdowns, and he threw for 3,500 yards. Like almost 4,000 yards last year. Like that, those are numbers you can't ignore. So
you think that's attributed to like his protection? Like now you said offensive
yes.
line. I mean, he's getting the protection that he needs to get to get those numbers. Yeah, I agree.
So if you had the line the two, put them together, who are the two of them would you say would be the more accurate of the two brothers as far as a passer?
I still will go with Taulia.
Okay. Like, is it like we're looking at things like his vision and his decision making process maybe that makes him a little bit a better quarterback? Like, is he going through reads and maybe dumping it off when he needs to, or taking
I think
a shot
it contributes to
downfield?
that, and I think it also contributes to the coaching as well. I think all that plays a role. Like, I think the system that Coach Loxley offensively is trying to build, like, it's you could see it. Like, I think they all make each other better. I think adding Copeland, I think Taulia can make Jacob Copeland look better. The running game, even it's going to be more like by committee. I think everybody offensively is going to make each other better. So.
Okay. All right. Well, sir, we would love to have you stick around for a while if you can. We're going to jump back into finishing up our SEC weekend roundup, and we're going to kind of go rapid fire with this here, as Sean likes to say. We're going to go kind of rapid fire here, and I'm just going to throw these at you guys and have me give you your opinions. We're going to talk about the obvious one that we haven't touched on, and that is Utah State versus Bama. Bama, of course, 55-0. It's not anything we didn't expect. Is there anything in this game? This would be an easy one. Is there anything in this game that we saw that we didn't expect, or was there any disappointments or shortcomings that we saw out of Alabama in this game? Let's go to you. Let's go to you, Collin.
No, I mean, like, it just, I mean, with Bryce, pretty much slinging the ball at will, 85 touchdowns and I have 6 total. We ran for 1. Utah State couldn't do anything with them. So, I mean, there's nothing really I can add to that. I mean, it's what we thought was going to, or what I thought was going to happen. Alabama pretty well took care of them. I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, sir. We're going to move on to the next game here. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanderbilt is 2-0. I'm going to say that again for those of you in the back that didn't hear it. Vanderbilt is 2-0. Now, granted, they played Elon College, but and Elon put up a few more points, but Vanderbilt managed to run up 42 points on Elon. They won by 11 points. It's another double-digit win for the Commodores. Mike Wright, another outstanding game, 245 yards, 4 touchdowns with 2 rush touchdowns on the ground. Nate, any insight on this? Anything that you saw, didn't see, was impressed by, was concerned for?
No, I mean, the first 3 games for the season for everyone is like the preseason. I'm surprised that Vanderbilt didn't put more points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, the way they were playing, the way they played in week 0. But I mean, just the fact that Vanderbilt has played 2 games and has totaled over 100 points. And yes, Mr. Spencer, you did call that one. You did say you could see them being 3-0, possibly 4-0 by the end of the 4th game. You did say that. I don't know if I had them winning that game. I think I may have had them winning that game just because it's Elon College. Elon is one of the schools that Savannah State normally plays. Let's see. Moving on to this next game, Collin, coming back to you. Troy and Ole Miss. Ole Miss wins by 18 at home. What do you got?
Yeah, no, I mean, I like I said, I figured Ole Miss would beat Troy. Nothing really stood out to me. I figured, Ole Miss probably would have, should have beat them a little bit bigger than what they did. Nothing really stood out. I mean, Ole Miss played like I thought they played. I mean, they would play.
Yeah. Now, one thing, Jackson Dart did not really show out. They were just over 500% on 3rd down efficiency. It looks like he didn't have a ton of attempts. Only threw the ball 27 times, got 154 yards with a touchdown, but 1 interception. So, do you think maybe Nate? Do you see this as maybe a case of again, with a kid getting a case of the jitters, playing with a new team and a new coach and et cetera, coming in off the transfer portal?
I mean, that's going to happen with any team. Chemistry is always going to be an issue the first couple of weeks. So I don't think it was jitters. I think it's just chemistry. They're adjusting to him, and they're adjusting to him, and vice versa. So I give it like another week or so, they'll be fine.
Yeah. And okay, moving on to the next game, Mercer at Auburn in Please Help Me Save My Job series. Auburn hangs 42 on Mercer. I would really have to go back and look at this, but I think that's probably the big fat point total for Auburn within from last year to this year. 42 points and a double-digit win. I mean, they won by 26 points. Now, they are playing Mercer. I did say that Mercer did have a good record. Mercer will be all right within their conference. But they held Fred Payton 197 yards in the air with 2 touchdowns. They only managed to muster 74 yards of rushing. But on the flip side of that, TJ Finley did not really do a lot behind center. He only threw for 112 yards and he threw 2 picks. But the bright spot of the Auburn was their rushing game. Tank Bigsby, big game. This is the big breakout game we were waiting for. 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. You had Jarquez Hunter with 3 touchdowns. So 5 touchdowns on the ground, 2 in the air. Very impressive win by Auburn. Brian Harsin lives to fight another day. So, gentlemen, I pose a question to you. Does this call the dogs off for a week, or do you think they're still looking at it and they're probably still looking to get rid of him by the time all is said and done? Come to you first, Nate.
I still think his seat is hot.
Oh, it's definitely hot. I'm just asking, like, does it buy him a little more time? Does it at least give him a couple more feet in the leash for next week? Or are they still got him on a tight leash?
I think he's on a tight leash. I think he's got this season to figure it out. If they don't do anything, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I agree with that. He's on the the 4 burners on the stove. He might have moved. Just he's still on that big burn. He's still on the big one. He ain't moved to the smaller one yet. But he it definitely helped his cause. I mean, I think he's lived to fight another day or another week, I should say. But yeah, he's on a very, very tight leash. Like Nate said, if anything, goes over, then he's gone.
Yeah. So we're gonna move to the next game. Mississippi State. Mississippi State looking very impressive in their season opener, 49 points over the Memphis Tigers at home. Will Rogers did what Will Rogers does, 450 yards in the air, 5 touchdowns. Did throw 1 pickle. Defense limited Seth Hennigan to 165 and 1 touchdown in the air. They did have 2 touchdowns on the ground. But yeah, it basically was the Will Rogers show. And he slung that ball. For him to throw for so many yards, there was not one single 100-yard passer. He managed to get the ball to 11 different receivers during this game. That's just how dominant this game was. And no one receiver had more than 1 touchdown. So, and then they had a couple of the defense came up with a couple of block punts so this is great game. Great game for Mississippi State. Great way to open up the season. I'm sure the home fans were very pleased with that. And last but not least, Tennessee and Ball State. And Tennessee hangs 59 on Ball State at home. Basically kept them out of the end zone until the third quarter. Hendon Hooker throws for 221. Coming to you, Collin, what you got? What did you see? Concerns, questions?
Not really. I mean, it was Ball State. I mean, I think we all picked them to handle them pretty easily. You had Hooker with he was 18 for 25, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had Wright with 88 yards, and he had a touchdown. And you had Jamal Sampson also added a touchdown, and Hooker also ran to him. So it was. I didn't see anything that. I mean, like I said, this Tennessee against Ball State, so I figured they would handle them, like they did. No mustard was being thrown, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah, they were using the mustard to celebrate to actually put it on the hot dogs this go around. So, Nathan, what about you, sir? Anything you saw that really, really stood out in a good way, or anything you saw that just made you go, wow, I can't believe they did that?
I mean, like Collin said, it's Ball State. Tennessee, I feel like only thing I think that stuck out to me was their defensive line. But I think they'll get it together. But other than that, I didn't expect nothing more than a blowout.
Yeah, and of course the fans are on the social medias going, we're going to win the whole thing. And everybody else is saying, please pump your brakes because we are only in week 1 and we beat, and it's Ball State that we beat. So just bring it back a notch. Bring it back a notch.
Just
so just a coach. So next week's lineup that we'll be talking about, Collin and I will be on Thursday. Nate, you're more than welcome to join if you would love to. Alabama will be taking on Texas, South Carolina versus Arkansas in an SEC matchup. Vanderbilt welcomes Wake Forest to Nashville. Missouri travels to K-State. Those tricky Appalachian State guys are going to play Texas A&M. Tennessee visits Pittsburgh. Sanford comes to Sanford to play the Dogs. Kentucky plays in the Swamp against the Gators. Central Arkansas visits Ole Miss. Auburn welcomes San Jose State. LSU welcomes Southern. And Mississippi State travels out to Arizona. And we'll be talking about those games on Thursday. Collin and I will. So you guys make sure you watch for dates and times as to when we're going to come on. We're going to move into our next segment here. We actually did pretty good getting through that. We just got a couple more segments here we want to get through. Players of the week. Nate, I know you weren't really necessarily prepared for this, but we want you to participate in this. Players, who do you see as the players of the week on the SEC side? I know you definitely watched that Maryland game. Who did you see that stood out to you?
Players of the week, Bryce Young. I would have said LSU's offense, but they disappointed. You kind of put me on the spot there. Players of the week. I gotta think about that one. You definitely threw a curveball at me on that one.
Okay. Well, Collin, I'll come to you then. We'll give Nate a minute to think about it here.
Well, yeah, there were several. I mean, I got to give it to Bryce. I mean, anybody can throw up, or put up 6 total, touchdowns, and the amount of yards he put up. Of course, I'm going to say Stetson because he actually, like I said, he looked very polished. Even though it was an Oregon team that probably was a little bit overrated, but we didn't know before the ball was snapped. But he looked good. Our defense looked good. I would say, all right, I'll go ahead and say Burton. I'll say, Burton actually for Alabama, he actually he played pretty well for them. Those are about the 3 that I see.
Okay.
I'm sure there are more I'm missing, but those are 3 I'm talking about.
Well, here's what I got, and here's what I'm going with. I'm going on the defensive side with Bumper Pool from Arkansas. Yesterday, the boy had 13 tackles. The boy had Saturday, 13 tackles and a tackle for loss. That's insane. There's some players that barely have that many for the whole season. He got 13 tackles in one game. That man was putting in overtime. I'm also going to roll over to Nashville, and as much as we dog Vanderbilt, I am stoked and excited. I don't know what the rest of the season is going to bring, but I'm excited for Vanderbilt at 2-0. I'm going to go with the quarterback, Mike Wright. He is in 2 games, 31 of 50 for 391 yards and 6 touchdowns, passing at 247 rush yards with 4 TDs. So altogether, he is already accounted for in a 7-day period. He has accounted for 600 yards of total offense and 10 touchdowns for his team. And that is something that the reason that is even all the more impressive. Yes, there are quarterbacks that do that, but this guy is doing it at Vanderbilt, and they are winning. And they are winning by double digits. So I'm happy for them. They need to slow their roll before we play them because I don't want no mess. But I'm happy for Mike Wright is balling out. Those are my players of the week. Nate, I'm gonna come back to you. Did you come up with anybody else you wanted to throw in there?
There's a wide receiver. I think he goes to Arizona. I would say his name's like Jacob Counting or something like that. I think he had like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think they beat San Diego State. It was like 38-20, something like that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he could put player of the week. Then you could say Anthony Richardson as well for player of the week.
Yeah. Now he was actually granted. I think he was SEC player of the week. I think he was granted SEC player of the week honors. And I did have him in my honorable mentions. I also had Will Rogers, Bryce Young, and Anais Smith from Arkansas. Had 164 receiving yards. Will Rogers, of course, we went through those stats, and Anthony Richardson put together a very solid. It wasn't the numbers were not gaudy, but he put together a very, very solid performance. This is the guy that last year under pressure would cave, and we saw some of that. To get to some of these comments here. No, Sean, they're not as bad as we can. No, I'm not saying that Vanderbilt is bad this year. What I am saying is that Vanderbilt has historically been when we talk about the season opener cupcake teams that the SEC teams beat up on, Vanderbilt is normally the cupcake team for somebody else's season opener. Vanderbilt is normally the team that other people were hanging 20 and 30 on. I'm not saying they're a horrible team. This year they have shown much improvement, and I'm actually stoked for them. I'm giving them props. I'm not saying they're crappy. I'm not saying they're a crappy team. They are an excellent school. It's just football has not always been their strong suit. And this year they're coming out strong, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
I did not bring out Spencer Sanders, Sean. I did see his stat line. I didn't catch that game. I did see his stat line. He was very impressive. Only reason I didn't pick him up is because I was just trying to keep it SEC based. But I mean, if we're going all the way around, then I would definitely put his name in there. Also, Sean Clifford. Also, Sean Tucker. I just kind of tried to keep my list a little brief and to the point because I knew that this segment was kind of coming along at the end of the show. And we're actually still not doing bad, guys. We're only a couple minutes over. So now what I want to get into is the play of the week. Anybody got a play of the week for anybody got a play of the week? I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna come to you, Nate, and then I'm gonna go after that because I think Collin and I have the same one, but I don't know. We'll see.
The blocked field goal.
Okay. Okay.
That's play number one. Second play of the week was Mr. Hamby from Maryland, had 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
And Anthony Richardson.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I got the happy finger.
Those are my 3 plays of the week.
Okay, I only came up with one. I really only picked out one because I focus more on the players of the week. I just wanted to pick out a player of the week, but we can get into that. We can move forward, going forward with 2 or 3 plays of the week. As you know, Colin and I are both fans of the same team. We are happy that our team won. As we mentioned, Oregon was making a nice little move down the field. Bo Nix dropped in the pocket, looked to his right, saw what he thought was a wide open streaking wide receiver. And like I said, we've been struggling with some run D. We did like this game, we struggled with run defense up front in the front 7. But one of our DBs stepped up to the challenge. And he gets the watch for me. This is my Usher Watch This Award of the week. And here's the play right here. Streaking down the field right there. And Malachi Starks with that interception to cut off what definitely would have been a play to set Oregon in good field position. As you can see, if he caught that ball and come down, it would have been inside the 10-yard line, and they will mark you very easily. So that is my
that was
Usher.
Good defense.
Yeah, that was my Usher Watch This play of the week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, that would definitely you hit it on the head. That would be mine too. But like you said, that Oregon receiver, if Malachi hadn't been there, he'd have had it. He had his eyes locked on him. So Malachi wasn't there, that would definitely been a catch by the receiver from Oregon. So
yeah, and we got. I think it was also kind of karmic in a way that Christopher Smith, if you remember, he was the one that got the pick 6 against Clemson last year in the season opener. He got a pick 6. He got a pick 6 on Saturday as well. So those, ladies and gentlemen, are this week in SEC football plays of the week. We're going to move into our closing segment. We did really good. I thought we were going to go way over. We're only 10 minutes behind the schedule with everything that we got squeezed in. Our 2-minute warning. Nathan, everybody has a one last thought, one last word, the daily vitamin. Ours is a 2-minute warning. We would, as our guest, we would like to give you the opportunity to go first. So, floor is yours, sir.
I get any one last word or anything, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. It's 4 to 10 months.
Let's see. One last word. Be kind to one another. We all in this sports atmosphere can agree to disagree. I think sports, we all have a passion for, especially when we talk this game, whether it's football, basketball, etc. But I think sometimes our emotions get the best of us. And like what I see, especially like we're talking basketball, I see some people getting in their feelings, and it's hard to really keep that line between being a fan and being a reporter. I think just being kind, but also to just respect other people's opinions.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Colin, I'm gonna let you have the last word of the day. I'll go ahead and give mine. Um, Summer came and summer went. It's still summer until for another few weeks. But for all intents and purposes, as we know it, we are now winding down the last holiday of the summer. Football, being a fall sport, is now here. Baseball's been going on for a while. In another about 6 weeks, we'll be into the playoffs and deep in the thick of fall. The next thing you know, it'll be Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, yada yada. Happy New Year. Um, just you know what? It's been a great summer. It's been a great summer. I mean, it's not like I did a whole lot this summer, but I got an opportunity to get to Virginia. And Nathan, the next time I come, I let you know. I want to let you know, just for the record, that place does do wings, but they also have some bomb chicken tenders. So no, seriously, I'd love to break bread with you there and have you check it out.
I
Um,
got you.
uh, just I don't have much. I just want to say thank you. You know what? I'm gonna keep mine short and simple. Thank you to you guys for giving me some of your time today. Colin, you and me every week, and Nathan, you coming on. I know you're a busy guy because you got a whole bunch of chopping and editing to do. Plus post game pressers and stuff like that. So I just thank you guys for giving me a little bit of your time today and joining in this whatever this madness is that we do, uh, just to show people how passionate we are about the sports that we love. And it's on you, Colin.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I like to piggyback a little bit, but yeah, no, you know, on both of you guys, I'd piggyback on both of you guys there, but Nate, yeah, absolutely. Being a fan of a sport, you're supposed to basically, get people together, to watch a team, or be it basketball, be it whatever sport, it's supposed to like bring people together. Sometimes it does get a little bit, dicey when you have, teams are fans of rivalries or what have you. But at the end of the day, you gotta understand it's a sport. You're not even playing the sport. You're a fan of that sport. Don't take it too seriously. It's the occasional banter. Yeah, you know what, that kind of stuff. It is what it is. But I mean, once you get to a certain point, that fine line, you said you step, a toe over that line, it gets kind of dicey there. And it shouldn't be that way. It's meant to, sports in general is meant to bring people together. And also, yeah, I couldn't be more happy or stoked that football's here, college football. And like Anthony, you said, I enjoy being part of Let's Talk Football family, getting to know new people, hanging out with people on the computer, and the chat, the chat rooms and that kind of stuff, the group chats and that kind of stuff. It's funny, it's hilarious, all the different kind of people that you get to meet and talk to. But yeah, that's pretty much my 2-minute warning. But yeah, being a fan is one thing. Just remember, at the end of the day, you're just a fan. That's all.
100%. That one gets the horn right there. The air horn. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I do appreciate you. This brings us to the end of episode 22 of season 2 of This Week in SEC Football. We want to thank our illustrious guest, Mr. Nathan Snell. See, the audience got it this time because they saw me look at him like that Samuel L. Jackson meme where they say part of your job is to look at your children like this until they act right. They caught me looking. So we want to thank you. We want to thank you for joining us, Nathan. Nathan, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
You guys can follow me on Twitter. It's one Nathan Snell, Snell. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Same, one Nathan Snell. I upload at least 1 or 2 videos at least a day, whether it's live or recorded. We talk football, basketball, baseball, college football, basketball, men's and women's. Be tuned in for greatness.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Our guys out there doing it. Listen, when I met Nathan was doing 2 and 3 hour shows that didn't come on until 9 and 10 o'clock at night. And sometimes there would be times when I had gone to bed early. I wake up in the middle of the night, pick my phone up, and like, "Dang, Nate, you still going?" He's like, "Gotta get this news out, bro." Like, now obviously Nathan doesn't talk like that, but the man. I mean, dude, he's one of the hardest working fellas I see in this business. Between you, and just your work ethic with just constantly putting out content as a one-man show.
Thank
and
you. I
then
appreciate that.
Mr. Spencer on the other side, who is coordinating. He's like that meme of that guy with the map with all the strings and stuff in it, because he's got Let's Talk Football, Washington Football Weekly, Washington, Let's Talk Football in the Park, Let's Talk Football After Dark, Let's Talk Football on the Plane, Let's Talk Football on the Train. I love to talk football. Yes, I am. Yes, I love football. Sam, I am. Like he's everywhere.
Well,
Like,
I give Sean Spencer. I definitely give him credit for help for getting me to where I'm in today. Because without meeting Sean, I don't believe I'm where I'm at. None of that's possible without connecting with Sean, and that's probably been one of the best blessings of my life is meeting Sean Spencer.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. We would not be doing this right now if Sean had not made this suggestion. I was just coming off of podcasts that have been running for 4 years on the heels of a podcast that ran for 2 years on the heel of another podcast that ran for 2 years. And I was just getting ready to just do music and be happy. And he was like, hey, why don't you come on the show as a guest? And then he was like, hey, have you ever thought about you're an SEC guy doing this show? So then it was me and him and you. And then he's like, yeah, your boy Collin's a Georgia fan. Why don't you? And then he brought Collin in, and then he just, he basically was like the dad that's teaching the kid how to ride the bike that finally lets go of the training wheels and you don't even know he's let go. Like he just faded into the background. And that's seriously. And now here we are. So, brother, I know you and I clown you a lot. We joke with each other, but I appreciate you you got 3 people here on this show right now that appreciate you. And thank you for saying, hey, let's do this. You understand? Yep. So we appreciate you. So that's going to close us out for this evening. On behalf of myself, the brother from another mother. Hold on, I got to give it to you. I don't know if you caught all the nicknames here, Nathan. So he is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face. I'm very happy to be here. Collin P from the DMV in the SEC. Yours truly, Mr. Fingaz from Zagness Central, and the man, the myth, Mr. Nathan Snell. We getting out of here. Nate, I hope you can hang out for a sec after we go off the air. We'll catch y'all later. Go Dogs.
Go Terps.
Go. There you go.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.